scores as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Bucket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Bucket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV. We've got a lot of games on the slate today. Excited for these games today. Yeah, what about those Habs? Hey, the Sharks going to overtime last night. We're so close to getting it done, but not able to. Good morning, Chip. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Jace. Thank you all for being here today. Let's make some freaking money. That is right. Okay, let's kick off these games. Again, we're going over every single game on today's slate if you haven't been here before, and we're also going to recap them all at the end of the show. So we will do that as well. Let's jump straight into it. The Ottawa Senators taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. These teams get really feisty out there. We're going to see those penalty minutes. Teams are going to spend time in the box, and that really does favor the Ottawa Senators. If the Ottawa Senators get up on that power play, they're able to convert. One of the highest teams in the league, converting 31.1% of the time. They're going to come against an elite kill, though, here. The PK coming in at 83.9% for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we got strength against strength on that. I do think this ends up being a lower scoring game, you guys. We look here. Ottawa has to be careful not to spend too much time in the box. Their kill is only 76.9%. It's not an elite power play here for the Toronto Maple Leafs, only converting at 20.8. Now, that being said, they've stepped up in some of these games as of late. Looking at the current lines, it is plus 100 for the Ottawa Senators, minus 120 for the Toronto Maple Leafs, total of 5.5. You guys, I do think we see this one goes under the 5.5. Now, the under 5.5, we're starting to lose value on it. It was plus 112, not even 20 minutes ago. It's plus 106 right now on FanDuel. So if you're crazy enough like me to take the under 5.5 in this matchup, jump on it before you lose the best of that number. Now, looking at who I think is going to win here, I am scared to take the Boston Bruins at home, but I do think they win that first period. I think they come out nice and strong in the first, go up 1-0 over the Ottawa Senators, and then we see the Sens get back into this game. I will be live betting the Senators at that point, as I do think they can win this matchup here versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. So give me the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm pretty sure I said Boston Bruins, you guys. My mind is crazy. I'm thinking ahead to that Boston Bruins game, but give me the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first period on the puck line, laying a half a goal. I'm looking for Toronto to get up fast and then Ottawa to counter back. So laying a half a goal is coming in at plus 172. The home team, though, has won 8 of the last 10. So initial play here on Boston in the first period, the home team winning 8 of the last 10. I do like what the Leafs have brought to the table. Without Austin Matthews, it doesn't matter. This team really has stepped up. They won their last 3. They won Saturday versus Montreal, 4-1. Got a nice big win. When we look here at the Ottawa Senators, they are off that overtime win versus those Boston Bruins that I keep throwing out there. That was a 3-2 win versus the Bruins. Now, one thing about Ottawa, off an overtime game, they have lost their last 9 first periods off an overtime game. It really does push me even heavier on the Boston Bruins on the puck line, the Toronto Maple Leafs on the puck line in the first period. Boston is on my brain today. You know, we're looking at Brad Marchand for his props. We'll get into that game in a minute. But the Toronto Maple Leafs puck line, because the Ottawa Senators are off that overtime game versus the Boston Bruins, we know that they struggle in the first period off of overtime. So I'm looking at the Leafs to be able to cover the puck line in the first period, laying a half goal, plus 172. Under 5.5, plus 106. Now look for a hard-hitting defensive battle between these two. Goaltending, Omar here for the Ottawa Senators. Strong record. The goals against average isn't great at a 3.23. Just under 900 versus the Leafs in his career. Stolarz, though, 2-2 in 4 games with a 923 save percentage and a 2.26 goals against average. This game's going to come tight to that 5.5. Hopefully it doesn't go to OT. Let's look at the next one here. The Winnipeg Jets taking the New York Rangers. You guys, this game is going to be electric out there on the ice. Talk about a complete battle. We know how strong the Winnipeg Jets have been rolling. Can they win another game? Well, they're rolling in as the underdog into New York to take on the Rangers in the Garden. And I tell you, this Rangers team is so complete out there. I love what they're able to do on both sides of the puck. Strong goaltending. But the Winnipeg Jets, we cannot deny how strong this team has started the season. Best records. They're setting history records out there. They're plus 110. Out of principle, I want to grab the Winnipeg Jets, but the New York Rangers at minus 132 at home will get last change out there on the ice. Will the Rangers hand the Winnipeg Jets their second loss of the season? It absolutely could happen. I feel more comfortable looking at this total, though, you guys. We got a total of 6.5 minus 134 to the under 6.5. Now, it's juicy, so I get why you wouldn't want to lay the under in this game with that juice. So I looked at a couple other things for you guys to look at here. I'm going to look at that first period, the first period under 1.5 goals. Yes, it's risky because we know these teams could get up in the first period and then lock down for the rest. But I'm expecting goaltending to come out completely on fire to start this game. And yes, I am liking unders today, you guys. It's a Tuesday. I'm high on the unders, and I know a lot of you are not going to like it. We want to see that offensive hockey. I know that you do. I want to as well, but hard-hitting, defensive, scrappy hockey out there, there is really nothing better at the end of the day. You guys get in to the vibes of those low-scoring ones. As the season progresses, we are going to see a lot more lower-scoring games out there on the ice. So the first period, under 1.5 goals, coming in at minus 102. No goal in the first 10 minutes. I tell you, the no goal in the first, or a goal in the first 5 minutes and the no goal in the first 10 minutes are the most stressful bets out there. I swear, you are sitting there on the edge of your seat every time one team has that fire in the opponent's zone and are firing at the net in those first 10 minutes. It's just complete mayhem. So the no goal in the first 10 minutes, I'm going to ride tonight. I'll be stressing. It's coming in at plus 118 and the under 6.5. So under 1.5 in the first period, no goals in the first 10, and the under 6.5. Now, that being said, those two bets could be blown in the first 5 minutes because the offensive firepower between these two is so phenomenally strong. We got the best power play here in the Winnipeg Jets, converting 41.9% of the time. It is phenomenal. And then we look here at the Rangers. This Rangers team is averaging 3.77 goals per game. They're converting 26.3% of their power play opportunities. The one relief we do have for the under here is the New York Rangers are the best team on the kill. They're killing 91.1% of their opponent's power plays, and the Jets are strong on that PK as well, 82%. So we've got strong defense here. Both of these teams defensively are fire. First in the Central here for the Winnipeg Jets. Yes, 14-1 on the season. The New York Rangers, they're fourth in the Metro. They're off that win versus the Red Wings, able to shut the Red Wings out 4-0. And we know Winnipeg Jets, since they took that loss, have won their last 6, and they just keep rolling. Now, can we see overtime in this game? I think it's worth a shot. OT 1-1 apiece. It's plus 360. I like the ability for this team to go to overtime. If you really want to back players to get goals tonight, I wouldn't because I like a low-scoring game. But Chris Kreider, how can we deny him here for the Rangers? I know Panarin is leading this team with goals and assists, and he's been so strong, but I do like Chris Kreider against the Winnipeg Jets. And then I'd look at Mark Scheifele here for the Winnipeg Jets. You know how strong he has been on the season. So Zibanejad really needs to step up for the Rangers. Can he step up here versus the Jets? He might be able to. I'm still waiting for Zibanejad to look like he plays out there. I don't mean that in a mean way. He just hasn't been that relevant out there on the ice. Kev, good morning to you. Yeah, if you guys could retweet this video, I would appreciate it. And drop below what you are liking today. Chip, you're riding with the over with the Toronto game. And I can see why. Both of those teams have strong offenses and should be able to light the lamp tonight. Let's move on to the next game. The New Jersey Devils. The Devils off the loss to the Sharks. The Sharks made us money that night, you guys. They're now going to face the Florida Panthers. Current lines on this one. The Devils are plus 108. The Florida Panthers are minus 130. Total of 6.5. It is a pick 'em either way, and you guys are not going to like where I'm going with this one. I'm sure I'm going with another under 6.5. It's minus 110 now. It was a minus 106. So you're starting to see the juice click up on the under in this one. I like the Panthers, and I like the way that they will force those turnovers and be able to attack in this game. When we look here at the goaltending, Jacob Markstrom should be in net here for the New Jersey Devils. He's 5-5-1 in 11 games versus the Florida Panthers in his career. He's got a 3.08 goals against average, a 909 save percentage. Bobrovsky has been so strong in his last 5 games, going 5-0 with a 9.17 goals against average, or 917 save percentage and a 2.36 goals against average, if I can talk today. And when we look at him versus the Devils, those numbers are so high. He's got a 919 save percentage, a 245 goals against average. He is going to come out strong in this one. I do think Florida can get the win. Now they play each other again on Thursday. But this is in Florida. They don't leave Florida. So it's interesting to see the Devils have to play a road and road versus the Florida Panthers. The Panthers, their forecheck out there is relentless. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Devils can respond to that. I do think they're going to struggle here. I think the Florida Panthers get the win in this one. I'm going to look at the Panthers to win this at minus 137. I do think this probably happens in regulation. If you take them to win it in regulation, you are getting better odds. I'm also going to take the under 6.5. I think this is just too high. The home team has won the last 7 meetings between these two teams. And Florida, while they struggle after overtime to cover that puck line, we still don't have to lay a lot of juice on that money line. At minus 137, I think it's worth it. Now, Sam Reinhart has been so strong for the Florida Panthers. He leads his team with 23 points, 11 goals, and 12 assists. If you want to look at Sam Reinhart for the goal tonight, it's not great value at plus 145, but I do think that he can be impactful for his team. 3+ shots on goal, it's juicy at minus 135. He's been quiet in the last couple of games, and that's why I think we're looking for that step up here, because he has been one of the forefront guys on this team, and I do need him to just wake up, come alive offensively. If you're looking at the Devils, because I think the Devils end up losing this game in a lower scoring game, I'd look at players who can get those shots on Bobrovsky in this one. So I'd be looking at just Jasper Bratt for his 3+ shots on goal. Now it's juicy at minus 130. As soon as you jump up to the 4+ shots on goal, you're getting great plus money. Problem is that the ability to get those shots is so hard for these guys. We normally see players ending on 2 or 3 shots. It's more so that we think they've got a shot where the books and the record keepers are not recording it as a shot. So it's a hard one to be able to get the 4+, but I could see him be able to get it if you're willing to take a chance on that. So remember, the Devils are off that loss versus the Sharks. In that game, they did put up 44 shots on goal. Blackwood just stood on his head, not allowing a single goal to come in. They lost that 1-0. The Florida Panthers roll in here, winning their last 7 games. They have been straight fire out there on the ice. They haven't slowed down since being over in Finland. And I thought this team would be in for a little bit of a slowdown with the time change and everything. It will catch up to them. Eventually, it will make sense when they eventually get that loss. I just don't see it coming here. They're really going to step up for a team sitting first in the Metro. The Devils first in the Metro, 10-6-2, and the Florida Panthers first in the Atlantic. You guys, 11-3-1 on the season. So it's going to be a great game. No look ahead either. The Devils playing the Lightning on Saturday, and yeah, the Florida Panthers do play 2 games versus the Jets. They go versus the Jets at home on Saturday, and then they go on the road to face the Jets in Winnipeg on Tuesday. Panthers and reg. Yeah, I like the Panthers and reg. That's where I think your best bet is taking them to get that win in regulation. Let's look at the Boston Bruins. The Boston Bruins, who I've been wanting to talk about since the start of the show, are taking on the St. Louis Blues. The Bruins are a minus 170 favorite on the road. The St. Louis Blues a plus 140 home dog and a total of 5.5. Now, this total is low at 5.5 between these two because we have seen these teams trend to that over the last 3 meetings. We've seen 6 or more goals, but I do think the St. Louis Blues have just been struggling offensively. We look at them over their last couple of games, last 6 games, I believe, they struggled to even put up 2 goals. They've scored 2 goals or less. This team is averaging a 2.53 goals per game and 25.7 shots. The Boston Bruins have a stronger defense here. While Swayman hasn't been as strong, I look for the defense of the Bruins to come out and be hard and physical. St. Louis, we know their defense can be hard and physical as well. So I am leaning to another under. I told you guys you would not like it tonight. I really do think these under 5.5s, we see at least 3 or 4 of these games that are sitting at 5.5 stay to that under tonight. We might see 1 or 2 sneak over because of the empty netter or because of the overtime push. They're pushing it to overtime. So at 5.5, I will take it under. It's minus 106. I do think the Bruins get this win in regulation. Bruins in regulation coming in at minus 110. So we're taking it from a minus 170 to a minus 110. This is the rematch of what? 2019 Stanley Cup Finals. Between these two, we're going to see Boston really bring it today. Brad Marchand, I told you guys I wanted to talk about him all game as well. I talked about those shots on goal. The Boston Bruins can get those shots. This team is averaging 27.4 shots on goal per game. And we see a St. Louis Blues team that's allowing those shots to come stacking in against their goaltender. Binghamton expected tonight, 30.3 shots on goals allowed per game. This team doesn't have a strong kill, but there's no strong power play here for the Bruins either. When we look at Binghamton versus the Bruins in his career, he's got a 918 save percentage, a 2.56 goals against average. So he has been strong. Swayman hasn't started the season like we would have hoped, and he doesn't have great numbers here versus the St. Louis Blues. So could we see the Blues pull off the upset? I just don't see it here. I'm not trusting them. This defense will look to lock down and dominate after being dominated by the Washington Capitals in that last game. It wasn't pretty. They let the Capitals put 8 goals on them. So this defense will look for the bounce back, which even draws me even stronger to that under, even though it is a 5.5, you guys. But I do think Boston gets it done in reg. I think Binghamton does enough to keep it under that total. Brad Marchand, you can look at for his shots on goal. 3+ shots on goal. It's minus 120. You guys know how I feel about laying juice on player props. When you bump him up to 4+ shots on goal, it's like 2-1 to your money. It's plus 205. It's going to be hard, you guys. We're going to hit right on 3 or 4. So if you want to put a half a unit on each, I don't blame you. He's been consistent, though, at getting his shots each and every game out there on the ice. Elias Lindholm is someone I would look at for points tonight. Now, he's minus 125 for a point. Why I look at him is we know that's not a strong power play here for the Boston Bruins, but it's not a great kill here for the St. Louis Blues either. So we see Elias Lindholm on the second line with Brad Marchand. So if I think Brad is going to be going off, getting those shots, has the possibility of getting the goal. When I'm looking at someone for their shots, I also think they have the possibility of getting the goal, you guys, because of that shot volume. But if we're looking at Brad, we got to look at players on the same line. Now, Elias Lindholm is on the same line with Brad on that second line. We also see him on the top power play with Brad. So I do think for the point tonight, he's worth it. If Brad's getting on the score sheet, I think Elias Lindholm will get on the score sheet too. He's coming in at minus 125. Okay, let's look. You could also look at Jordan Kyrou. If you want to look at someone for the St. Louis Blues, forgot to mention him. He has been able to get a goal in 3 of his last 4 games. He's got 5 goals on the season and 8 assists. So if you want to look at Jordan Kyrou for the point tonight, I would look at that as well. I hate going with players on the team that I think isn't going to win the game. It kind of goes against each other, but it does make sense as well. But let's look at the New York Islanders. They are taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Now, the Oilers are a large favorite, you guys. They're coming in at minus 225 on the money line, minus 1.5 on that puck line at plus 114. So that's where your value is in the Oilers. But I don't think they cover that puck line. We have seen this team struggle to win big at home. They haven't been covering that puck line at home, and they're coming off that win versus the Vancouver Canucks. Now, this was a tight game versus the Vancouver Canucks until that third period where we saw the Edmonton Oilers light the lamp 4 times in the third period. Otherwise, that would have been such a close game out there on the ice. So I do think looking at them after that explosive offensive production, people are going to want to take Edmonton on the puck line. And I understand why. We look at the Islanders, that defense is riddled with injuries. So Edmonton should be able to, if they had the production that they had in the third period, versus Vancouver, be able to come out here, easily go over their team total of 3.5, easily cover that puck line versus the Isles, but I don't think it happens tonight. Sorokin expected in net for the New York Islanders. You guys know how I feel about the goaltending situation in Edmonton. Stuart Skinner, I just can't trust out there on the ice. And between the pipes, he lets in some really weak goals. We've seen it game in, game out. When we look here at the Isles, Sorokin expected. Sorokin is a goaltender who I can trust out there on the ice. Again, we got a total of 5.5. We got a total of 5.5 in the Edmonton Oilers game in which the Edmonton Oilers put up 4 goals by themselves in the third period in their last game versus Vancouver. This begs me to take the over 5.5, even though it's juiced at minus 140, and I can't get there, you guys. I think it stays under the 5.5. Like I said, these under 5.5s are scary today, but I do think they are worth playing all of the 5.5s to the under, with the majority of them cashing. Now, I'm going to look also, because I'm liking the under and I'm liking the Isles to be able to keep it tight here. I'm going to look at them on the puck line. Plus 1.5 is just so juicy at minus 140. I'm really hoping Edmonton is able to come out strong in that first period score, and then we can come back on the Isles, plus the 1.5 on the puck line at that price when we're going to get great value. So the Oilers haven't covered the puck line in 7 of their last 8 home games. That trend is just too strong for me not to ride with the Isles here, plus 1.5 on the puck line. Now, if you're looking at my best bet, I really do think it's the under 5.5 with that plus money. So player props, I'm leery of taking any player props because of the fact I think this game is a lower scoring game. We know Connor McDavid, top line, top power play. So if you really want to take something for Edmonton, I would look at him. Also a nice trend to look at the Islanders here, especially if you want to see the Islanders pull off that upset win. They're off that loss versus the New Jersey Devils in overtime. They played strong, 4-3 game. What's happening here is with those injuries on the defensive side, they're letting these games go. But the road team has won 6 of the last they've won the last 6 straight between these two. And we've also seen the road team win 9 of the last 10. So road ice has been a huge advantage between these two. If you guys want to sprinkle on the New York Islanders to get the straight up win in Edmonton tonight at plus 184, I think there is so much value in taking them here. Kevin, I love that you're rolling with the Ottawa Senators versus the Toronto Maple Leafs straight up on the money line tonight. You know the dogs are barking. I can get behind the Sens for the straight up win for sure. I'm also going to take the Isles, you guys. The more I talk about it here, the more I think the Islanders, even though they have the defensive issues, can get the win. We're going to need Sorokin to stand on his head. So I'm going to look to see if there's any goalie props out right now for the Isles, and we're still not getting those goalie props. I would be looking at Sorokin to go over whatever number you are getting out there. You look here at the Isles. The Isles are allowing 29.2 shots on goal per game. The Edmonton Oilers bring it. They average 32.9 shots on goal per game. Their power play is clicking at 15.2. When we look at Sorokin versus the Edmonton Oilers, he has a 936 save percentage, gone 3-3. If you're getting a number 28.5, 29.5 save shots on goal for Sorokin, take it to the over. If they're posting a 30.5, it's getting pretty high, but I still think he can get it. So look at Sorokin for his goalie props tonight. I do think he's a better goaltender. I know the defense has issues, but let's go. Let's go with the dog. Let's get the Isles straight up on the money line. I'm going there, you guys. I got to take it. The Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Seattle Kraken. Columbus is falling flat on their faces right now. They're plus 138 here on the road versus the Seattle Kraken, who are minus 166 favorites. Now, we've got a total of 6.5 in this one, and I struggle to see this one staying under that total. And it's interesting because the under 6.5 is juiced to minus 128. The over we're getting at plus 104. Columbus has struggled to find the back of the net in some of these games, but overall they're averaging 3.14 goals per game. Elvis is expected in net for them tonight, and Joey Decord over here for the Seattle Kraken. Now, the Kraken haven't averaged a lot of goals, only averaging 2.87 goals per game. They need to step it up offensively. Their power play isn't great. Either is the power play of the Columbus Blue Jackets. We've got a strong kill here for Columbus at 82.6%. So they are controlling those power play opportunities of their opponents. They're sitting 8th in the Metro right now, you guys. They're 5-7-2. We have the Kraken sitting here in the Pacific, 6-8-1. This team needs a win. They're off that win versus Vegas, so they're going to feel pretty good about themselves. That was an overtime win, 4-3. I think they come out strong to start this game, and I think Columbus comes out strong to start this game as well, and I think they come out stronger. This team has lost their last 5 games, you guys. They are in a do-or-die situation before returning home. This is the last game of a 5-game road trip. They are home on Friday versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. They go back out on the road on Saturday and face Montreal. This is a hard schedule time for this team. I think Columbus can get up in the first period. I expect, though, it to be an over 1.5 first period. I think the Columbus Blue Jackets win the first period 2-1. So then we get both teams to score the over 1.5, and the Columbus Blue Jackets on the money line in the first period at plus 124. Now, if you're looking at a trend that backs the Columbus Blue Jackets winning on the money line in the first period, they've won the last 4 first periods versus Pacific divisional opponents. So it is a strong trend for that. Seattle has won 4 meetings, the last 4 meetings between these two teams. So Seattle ends up finding a way to get the win. Could we see that tonight? Yeah, we could see it again. So I'll take Columbus in the first period, not the full game. I'll also look here at the over 1.5 in the first period and both teams to score. I really do think it is a 2-1 first period here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And let's move on to the Calgary Flames. Calgary off the win. They got the win versus the LA Kings last night. I didn't expect them to win that game 3-1. I thought it was going to go over the total. The Kings would probably win in a 4-3 overtime style game, but we ended up seeing Wolfie getting the start. And I tell you, Dustin Wolf has been straight fire in between the pipes for the Calgary Flames. The LA Kings only able to hit the back of the net once in that game, and Calgary winning at 3-1. Now they're on the second night of a back-to-back versus another Pacific divisional opponent here in the Vancouver Canucks. We know Vancouver has been strong at home. They're off that loss to the Oilers, though, on Saturday, which, again, they allowed those 4 goals to come racking in the third period. I still can't get over what we saw out of there. That was a game that they had to have circled. The Edmonton Oilers booted them from the playoffs last season. You know Vancouver was looking to get revenge after winning all reg games last season. They wanted to beat Edmonton so badly. On Saturday at home, they just weren't able to get it done. This team is sitting 4th in the Pacific, 7-3-3, versus the Calgary team that is above what people thought they would be. This team sitting 3rd in the Pacific, 8-5-3. So Vancouver needs to get this win. I do think Vancouver walks out of this game on top. They're minus 225 on the money line, though. I'm not betting that. There is no way. Minus 1.5 on the puck line. You can't get me to sign up with Vancouver either. That's coming in at plus 114. We look at Calgary. They're plus 1.5 on the puck line. It's so juicy at minus 140. Again, I'm hoping for a situation where Vancouver can go up at one point and we can come back on Calgary plus the 1.5 for more value. This total sitting at 6.5. I think this game starts off hot. I think both teams light the lamp in the first period. The both teams to score in the first period coming in at plus 172. The over 1.5 goals at minus 130. Kuzmenko is facing his former team. Now he leads Calgary I think he's leading Calgary with 8 assists. He has 8 assists so far, and he gets to face the Vancouver Canucks. Let's look at Kuzmenko for the anytime goal. I haven't put that one in yet, but I do think Kuzmenko can come out here strong. He's plus 310 for the anytime goal versus his former team. And you guys know I love to circle players like that versus their former team. So I will look at Kuzmenko. Again, he is leading this team in assists. So Kuzmenko for the assist tonight. Let me just see if they're going to give it to us. We can get Rasmus Andersson for an assist at plus 180. We know Rasmus Andersson has been so strong from the blue line for the Calgary Flames. Huberdeau has been strong as well. Brock Besner and Quinn Hughes really leading the Vancouver Canucks. We've seen so many points out of both of them. It's going to be a great matchup. Now, when we look at Vancouver, they've not lost in regulation at home to the Calgary Flames over their last 5 games in this situation, going 3-0-2. So we haven't seen that. Could we see overtime between these two teams? Calgary's going to have to play one hell of a game to push this one to overtime, but I do think it's worth a shot. Battle of the Pacific. And this is, sorry, I just closed my one window for FanDuel. Let me just open it. This is so pivotal for the Pacific here. You know, Calgary wants to get this upper hand. They're playing above expectations. And I think they play a hard game out here. Plus 390 for this game to go to overtime. You guys, I think it definitely is worth a sprinkle. So, Kelly, your New Jersey at Florida, 2 games today and Friday. Yeah, you're going to FYI 2 goals each in reg as a parlay piece. Okay, what value are you getting for 2 goals each in regulation there, Kelly? I'm looking for a lower scoring game, but that total sitting at 5.5. We could see 2-2 game going to overtime, and your bet and my bet still be able to cash. So plus 390 between Vancouver and Calgary to go to overtime tonight, you guys. That's all of the games. It's a heck of a lot of games. 32 minutes. You know I'm rolling with Tyson. How can you not go with Tyson to come out and beat the snot out of Jake Paul? Who is a Jake Paul fan out there? Seriously, it's got to be Tyson for me, you guys. I know he's old. He's crazy, though. We don't want to not back the crazy guy out there. He's going to find a way to win. And I say he's crazy in the best possible way. Mike Tyson, he's just a madman, and I want to see him get the win. So let's recap, you guys. There is over 1,000 people watching live right now. If you can hit that like, hit that retweet, comment over on YouTube, you guys, I would appreciate it so very much. It keeps this show going. So whatever you can do to help out, if you can, I appreciate it. Just thumbs up, drop what you're liking, anything in those comments. So the Ottawa Senators taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's recap time, you guys. The Leafs, I like on the puck line in the first period, laying a half a goal, plus 172. But I do think this is a lower scoring game. Give me the under 5.5 at plus 112. Looking for a hard hitting battle out there on the ice. Both of these teams really step up versus each other. Now, I do think the Ottawa Senators could come back and get the win, but the Toronto Maple Leafs win that first period. You got to love the plus money you're getting on the Senators for the full game, especially if they go down. The Winnipeg Jets and the New York Rangers, another low-scoring battle out there. Give me the under 5.5 in this game. Give me the under 1.5 goals in the first period at minus 102. Give me the no goal in the first 10 minutes, as I will be on the edge of my seat at plus 118. Mark Scheifele and Chris Kreider, the players you want to look at if you want to look at the anytime goals. Overtime in this one at plus 360. The New Jersey Devils taking on the Florida Panthers. I am looking for the Panthers to get the win here in regulation, you guys. I think this one stays under the total of, I believe this one's dropped to 5.5 as well. No, it's still 6.5, under the total of 6.5 at minus 110. Give me the Panthers winning this one. It's minus 137 straight up on the money line if you don't want to do in reg. Sam Reinhart is the player I would circle for the Florida Panthers if you're looking for that anytime goal, his shots on goal as well. He's been quiet over the last couple games, but does lead this team. Jasper Bratt, 3+ shots on goal. You're getting value here for the New Jersey Devils. I think they're going to come against a hot Bobrovsky and be able to not find the back of his net. Now, the Boston Bruins versus the St. Louis Blues. Give me another low-scoring battle between these two. I do think it stays under the total of 5.5. Give me the Bruins in reg at minus 110. Brad Marchand to step up tonight. Again, he's getting that shot volume each and every game. 3+ shots on goal at minus 120. A sprinkle on 4+ shots on goal at plus 205. Look at Elias Lindholm for his point tonight. Again, he's on the second line with Brad. He's also on that top power play with Brad Marchand, and I think they correlate nicely together for Elias Lindholm to be able to get the point. It's coming in at minus 125. The New York Islanders and the Edmonton Oilers. I think the Isles have the chance of pulling off the upset in Edmonton tonight. Yes, we're looking at the dogs. We're looking at the unders today, you guys. It's gross. Sorokin, the better goaltender. I'm taking the under 5.5 in this game for that plus money. You can look at the Isles if the Edmonton Oilers go up first in the first period, come back on the Isles plus 1.5 on the puck line. I don't hate that play. The Edmonton Oilers haven't been covering the puck line at home. So I do think the Isles plus the 1.5 is a very smart play today. It's just juicy at minus 140. I can't get on it right now. I will take the Isles straight up on that money line. It's plus 188. The Columbus Blue Jackets and the Seattle Kraken, you guys. The Columbus Blue Jackets first period money line at plus 124. I think this is a high scoring game from the get-go, though. I'll take over 1.5 in the first period and both teams to score. Yes, I'm asking for a lot there. I need a 2-1 first period for all of those three to cash, and it has to be the Columbus Blue Jackets on top. But that's where I'm going to go. The Calgary Flames versus the Vancouver Canucks. Again, another high-scoring first period. I'm not going to play the full game. I'm going to take the first period over 1.5 goals at minus 130. Both teams to score at plus 172. I'm going to look at Kuzmenko, that anytime goal. We looked it up, plus 310, you guys. I'm going to look at him for his shots as well. Again, revenge angle versus a former team. Vancouver hasn't lost in reg to Calgary in the last 5 meetings, going 3-0-2. I do think this one has the possibility of going to OT. I know Calgary's on the back-to-back, but look for them to stand up strong. Plus 390 to go to overtime. The goalie props I'm loving tonight. Sorokin, look at his save shots on goal. You want to take Sorokin over 28 or 29.5 save shots on goal tonight. The Edmonton Oilers rack up those shots on goal. The defense here has injuries for the Isles. Sorokin has to stand on his head for the Isles to be able to get the win. I would also look at the matchup between the Winnipeg Jets and the New York Rangers, Connor Hellebuck and Igor Shesterkin. Again, this game, we are going to see both teams firing. This game is going to come down to which goaltender can have the stronger night out there on the ice. Connor Hellebuck versus the New York Rangers has an 908 save percentage, a 2.92 goals against average. Bobrovsky versus the Winnipeg Jets, a 944 save percentage and a 1.86 goals against average. Look at both of these goaltenders to go over their save prop. 29.5, not a problem at all. You look at the Winnipeg Jets, they're allowing still 29 shots on goal, even though this team is dominating out there. The New York Rangers allowing 32.5 shots on goal per game. Both of these defenses give up the ability for their opponents to get those shots on goaltending. Goaltending will be pivotal in this matchup. We got a duel between these two, you guys. It's going to be a hot night out there on the ice. I can hardly wait for it. I want to thank you all for joining me here today. 1,000 plus 8. Okay, 1,000 plus 8. Drawing a blank on what you're meaning by that. You're riding with the Leafs. I like where you're going in that one, but I got to roll with the Ottawa Senators. The Leafs have had strong home ice advantage versus the Ottawa Senators. So Edmonton, puck line, home teams covered the puck line. They have, but Kelly, I can't get over the fact Edmonton, with that game off the Pacific versus Vancouver Canucks and how they finished that game, I feel like everyone's just going to want to ride the Edmonton Oilers, and I just don't trust Stuart Skinner in net. Now, I do trust Jeff Skinner, though. The forward out there for the Edmonton Oilers, Jeff Skinner, has been so highly impactful. If you're looking at points tonight, I would. Oh, Towson, college basketball tonight. Daniel, who are they playing? I haven't gone over the college basketball slate as of yet, but 8 points for Towson. You're getting a lot of points there. Drop who they are playing. You guys, I love to hear what else you are betting outside of hockey. So drop that in the comments as well. We've discussed Tyson versus Jake Paul, some college basketball now, and a heck load of hockey. You guys, again, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here today. Let's make some puck and money tonight. It's Tuesday, November 12th. How is this month already flying? We're going to be sitting here counting down the days till Christmas in a month. It is insane. Is your Christmas tree up? Let me know, you guys. Let me know where you are watching from. I, again, appreciate each and every one of you. If you're looking for some more bets from me, check out the SportsGrid app. Links are above and below. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Again, hit that like button, hit that retweet. I'd really appreciate it. Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe